Hi, everyone. Welcome to Aver Cuentame, where we sit down with members of our community making real impact and to learn the stories behind the work that they're bringing to the world. And today we're joined by Charo Toledo and Sharif Bennett, who's here to share about their journey and talk about their latest project, Blind Hope. And to start, could you tell us a bit about what you do? And we'll start with Charo.
Hi, my name is Charo Toledo, and I am an award-winning writer and producer. And I am the creator of #Blind Hope, this romantic musical drama, and that I'm excited to share with you.
Awesome. And I guess I'll go next. Sharif Bennett, co-founder and chief business officer of CineBlock. CineBlock is an equity crowdfunding and marketing platform specifically for entertainment IP investment, meaning we can make a film, a TV series, a theater play, anything along those lines under the umbrella of entertainment, investable for both accredited and non-accredited investors.
Very cool. And we'll get into that. So I would love to start with how you guys know each other. Where did you build your connection or your friendship?
It's so crazy. Sharif and I went to Swarthmore College. Again, a college situation, of course, many different years apart, but Prince, who is one of the members or owners of CineBlock, contacted me. I think it was alumni to alumni. And we started a conversation about all my projects. And so, I think we have met like a year before he saw my proof of concept of Blind Hope that I invited him to. And then we formalized a relationship because we really click. So it all comes from Swarthmore.
This tiny liberal arts college that is a really unique place where you meet some really unique people with really unique ideas.
But talk about alma mater connection. I think USC has some competition because this sounds like an amazing project that you guys are working on. So why don't we start with CineBlock? Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, so as I stated earlier, we're a platform that allows for investable IP. So let's take a step back. For a lot of people, they don't understand the journey that a filmmaker like someone like Charo has historically had to go through. So back in the day, or should I say prior to the inception of CineBlock, what most people did was they said, okay, I have this great idea, right, for this project that I want to get funded, but I don't have the money to make a movie because making a movie is really expensive. So let me then just get on the horn and call up or email as many people who have money, right? Wealthy individuals, and basically just hit them up for money. Here's the problem with that. One, there are not that many wealthy people. When I say accredited investors, that means a net worth of $1 million or more out there floating around in the world. Millionaires just don't fall off trees. And even if they did, it's a certain percentage of accredited investors who then have historically invested in film and television projects. So what we decided to do as a company, because myself and my co-founders all attempted to break into the industry in different roles, was we basically took the idea of like Kickstarter, because that's where a lot of filmmakers were going to get sort of gap financing, and said, well, what if we built something along a similar model, but instead of a donation-based platform, we made it in an investment-based platform. So still this concept of fractionalized investment. So for as little as maybe $100 or $150, someone can now own a piece of a film. And that was the inception of our idea. And from there, it just grew and grew and grew. But that is the core principle of what it is we do.
That's amazing. And it sounds like it's really helpful for indie artists, writers, creators. And Charo, talk to us about your choice to go indie and your choice to go with CineBlock.
Well, the thing is, #Blind Hope is a very authentic film. It takes place in Puerto Rico, and we have this Mexican ballers, football players coming to Puerto Rico, having an adventure. That William and Esperanza have this love affair, and then they separate. Some accident happens, and they separate for 10 years. And because of circumstances, they come in love and fall in love again. The movie's written in Spanglish. It's both English and Spanish. It's very authentic. And so when you present a project like this to the general Hollywood institution, they are afraid because they don't understand the cultural nuances. They don't understand or trust that. Even though our audience showed, even in that Mexico-England football game, there were 105 million viewers, hello, and
Right.
45 million just in the US and 40 in Mexico. But what I'm saying is this movie is about footballers, about Mexico, about Puerto Rico, about East and West. And so if you do not have people in upper levels of management in the studios or networks, they're not going to understand this story. They're going to want to water it down. And then you end up with a product that neither serves the community nor is not authentic. And the other people is like, what is this about? So this is super out there and risky. But for me, it's the most authentic way to go about it, so that the vision gets done with authenticity and integrity. And I love CineBlock because they are offering this platform for regular, especially for BIPOC and Latino investors to go in, Latino creators, and present the project the way they want to create it in a very regulated and legit way, which Sharif will talk more about. It's not just like I'm going to slap something and see it and spark or slap something. There are very distinct regulations and things that we have to go through to make sure that we're compliant with FINRA, and he can talk a little bit more about that. So it is not just this, okay, let me call my aunt and give me money to the, no. It's very organized, it's very professional, and it gives the independent filmmaker and the authentic voices a chance to get their story out. And I'm doing this story not just for myself, because really it's not about me. It's about giving a voice.
Wonderful. And we'll get into the CineBlock aspect of Blind Hope in a little further down. But I'd like to really dive into Blind Hope. Could you tell us when you wrote it and why this project makes sense now to really push out?
Okay, so basically I started writing this film in 2016, 10 years ago. Wow. I moved to the beach, and you went and visited me there, so you know that place where I lived. I basically got in my head that I had 1 year to live. And so I sold my house in Sherman Oaks, I sold everything, and I went into the beach. I said, if I have 1 year to live, I want to live in front of the ocean. But I went there to die.
Wow.
And the ocean whispered the story to me. And so for 10 years, on and off, I kept working on it and working on it and trying to find this character and not that character. The William character, which is the baller, came really easy to me because he was entitled. Party. And I was just like, but that Esperanza character has taken me 10 years to understand love, spirituality, and supernatural love. So, but basically, this is a movie about being seen, and it's a movie about resilience and hope. And the thing is, this movie, I did not know it, but has given me hope. And now 10 years later, I'm here with CineBlock. I'm with Bell Films, which is my partner in this. And we have an incredible cast. But before that, last year, I had that script buried in the computer.
Wow.
And I was dating someone, and they were wearing a scapular. It was a St. Jude scapular, not a Niño de Atocha scapular. And I thought, oh my God, how rare is that for a man in LA to be wearing a scapular? Hello, it doesn't happen. So that was a sign I felt from the above to say, go back to the script. And then I said, okay, I'm going back. And so I put it through the blacklist. I put it through a lot of different things. And then I said, I need to compose the songs because it's a romantic musical drama. So I was assistant, but now I said, okay, I got to get it done. And so then we did a webinar reading, a really incredible reading. People just came, they loved the script. And that webinar reading is what Prince from CineBlock saw. And Prince said, I'm just going to keep it on the background and do whatever. You know how people are, Yeah. He's like, I couldn't keep my eyes off it. I got incredible testimonials, and everybody who reads the script and sees the proof of concept loves it. And so that gave me courage to now move into the equity raise, into the partnership with CineBlock and Bell Films, who already has an LOI for $500,000 for a post. So, I mean, everybody believes in this project, but we go back to me, if the script is not right, and nothing works.
That's really interesting. I'd love to hear about your choice in a webinar reading. Is that common? Is that the new best practice to get, attention? Talk to us about that webinar reading process or choice.
So again, because I am obsessive, and Sharif knows, I am obsessive and to the point of excellence, because that's what we learned at Swarthmore. We got to give it to Swarthmore, Sharif. That it was about excellence and how can I make something better.
Absolutely.
So, right? And originally, I just wanted a regular Zoom reading to hear it.
Okay.
And then at Amy McCloskey, I met her at an event at Nosotros, and I said, I need to just hear it. Get some actors from Nosotros. Get just some actors and hear it. She says, I'll help you. Again, this is how it happens. I'll help you. So then now I'm not alone. So then after that, Sofia Arriaga, she's like, what are you doing, Charo? I'll help you, because I have mentored her too. So I'm like, okay. And then when Sofia came in, she has worked in studios and everything. Then it became auditions and a whole thing. And then literally I was in church and I was like, okay, we're going to do this. But when you are in a Zoom call, you know how it can go crazy and people are like scratching their nose if they're watching, whatever. And I said, I don't want that. God, please. And so then I said, I'm going to do it as a webinar. So then what we did was that the audience was not seen on screen, only the highlighted participants, and the brilliance of, and then I was like, I want to chat. And the girls, the Gen Z, no, it cannot be done. And I'm like, no, there's a way of doing a chat and a webinar. So again, my persistence, but that persistence paid off because there was a party within the party. So the movie was being read, right? And then the people were commenting on real time what they were feeling and getting into, girl, get out of there, you girl. Like, there was a whole situation with that then gave me like immediate feedback as if it was working or not. So that's the webinar. Other people just do a regular Zoom reading. I said, no, I want it polished. And the great thing is that I have the proof of concept. I have it on YouTube, and I can pick those scenes and put them on the Blind Hope Instagram page, and the investors will be able to see, hey, this works.
That's great. That's great. And now that you've kind of touched on it lightly, you were working on this project for 10 years. So did you try to go the normal route, going to the big production companies?
I did not. I gave it to my agent. My agent went to the reading. They loved it. But there's a whole thing happening in the industry right now where unless you have Zoe Saldana, Selena, all these big people attached, it won't move the needle for the studios and network. And I'm like, I don't want to go that route. I want to go this route. And so it was a decision I made. But, there's a big executive named Daniel Schneider. He's like, go to this, go to that, go to that. And for some reason, there was a resistance from my agent who's not Latino. Again, we go back to the problem of not understanding the material. So if you don't understand the material, how are you going to sell it? And I got the best reviews. I got an 8 on the Blacklist. That's unheard of. Wow. The Blacklist, which is the platform that reviews scripts, said, this is the next Emilia Perez. This is the Latino Wicked. That's what they said. I did not pay them to do that. And it just, I said, okay, well, El Niño de Atocha is telling me that this has to go indie. It has to go with the people. It has to go raw. It has to go authentic.
And this platform, CineBlock, is allowing you to tell this story in a really authentic way. Sharif, can you talk to us about how what you're doing with this avenue really helps stories like the one Charles sharing?
Yeah, so if we build on what Charo just left off with, if she had gone sort of or attempted to go the Hollywood route, there would have been a high likelihood of some level of compromise of her story. I don't want to speak on her behalf, but something along the lines of this can't be told in both English and Spanish. It has to be in English solamente, right? For lack of a better term, right? And that really hinders the culture of the story itself. So what our platform is fundamentally about is for people who want to support projects that hit home, that for projects that they have a genuine connection to, they're now able to support these financially and say, look, you don't have to go the Hollywood route. I, Mr. Joe Smith, will give my $100 to support this in hopes that the project then gets made and potentially I, Joe Smith, can receive some level of return as the project gains momentum, is picked up potentially on the Netflix or in theaters, et cetera. But what I can say is I now own a piece of art. And what a lot of everyday people don't grasp is the fact that art ownership is something the uber wealthy have done for years. When people get real money, I'm not talking like, hey, you know, like $1 million. When people start getting, you know, the 8-9 figure money, they immediately start purchasing art, collectibles, because those don't decrease in value. And all we've done is just basically taken that same concept and fractionalized it to make that one, or to make art that is normally extraordinarily expensive more easily attainable for everyday regular people, right? And then simultaneously, what we do is we empower filmmakers like Charo to say, no, I'm going to stick to my guns and make the project I want. And then we empower the investor to say, hey, you can now own a piece of this, right, in perpetuity. And so that's really what our platform is about.
That's great. So people can find the link or start donating now?
No. So the campaign has not started, right? We're looking at later in the month. Charo, tell them the date.
July 23rd. Well, it's because it's an important day, because today, July 23rd, is the day that the film starts. Okay. And July 23rd is also my mom's birthday. So I was superstitious about it. And I thought, you know, this is the day. So what they could do is they can click on the link and join the wait list. But we're starting July 23rd. And in July 23rd, Sharif and I are going to do a live. And that's, you know, we're going to just, you know, boom, we're going to open it up. So
wonderful.
Exactly.
I'll drop the link for the wait list. Can you share where you're going live? Where can people get directed to?
We're gonna do at the Blind Hope, which is _Blind Hope. That's our main, you know, account, and then you
on
can
Instagram, Facebook,
on Instagram, and I probably will link it to my Facebook at Charo Toledo. So that's, I think, what we're gonna do, unless and probably linked on with CineBlock, right?
That is absolutely correct. And you can follow us. We will keep the audience of the public updated as well about her project and information upon its release, and then ultimately when it does get released. But yeah, we're more than excited. We can't wait for this.
Tell us about your live. I mean, what is the event? Is it really just highlighting Blind Hope? Talk to us about it.
So the live is going to be kind of like a little bit of what we're doing right now, because people don't understand the CineBlock platform. They're a little not familiar maybe with the whole story or the journey of Blind Hope. So we'll talk a little bit about the journey of Blind Hope. And we're going to talk about CineBlock and how this platform works and why it works for independent BIPOC, you know, creators, and you know, a call to action.
Exactly.
Come and join the party, so to speak.
Yeah, from a legal perspective, there's certain things that we can't divulge as of right now, but on the day that it's actually live, we can get into a little bit more detail about the offering itself.
You know, since you both are creatives, I'd actually love to hear both of you ask each other questions, maybe about your projects or your platforms that might be really interesting, since you guys have been working so closely together.
I'm going to start. Sharif, tell me, what is the difference between CineBlock and Seed and Spark and Kickstarter?
Great question. So those are awesome platforms, right? Kickstarter, Seed, and Spark, they are awesome. Those are donation-based platforms. So when you participate in a campaign on those platforms, in all likelihood, what you'll get is the satisfaction of having donated to a platform or to a campaign, and maybe a t-shirt or a coffee mug if it's successful. That's what you're going to get. Whereas with our platform, you have actual ownership rights, right? There's potential for money to be made because you're making an actual equity investment. Okay, so that's a little bit different. And depending on how well the film does, right, that's where you have the potential for return, right? Yeah, so that's a main difference. Additionally, those other platforms, once again, they're awesome. What they don't do is market their creatives. Okay, they don't really assist them. I speak to Charo regularly. Okay, they just basically give, for all creatives, they give you a platform and say, all right, here, sign up. It's almost like going swimming without a swim instructor. It's almost like there's a big ocean. Go ahead, we're not even going to give you water wings. Just go ahead and swim, right? If you drown, you drown. But if you make it, awesome. We don't operate in that fashion. We work with our creatives for months leading up to their launch. From a regulatory compliance standpoint, we have to work with them. From a marketing standpoint, we work with them. We then market them to our network and within our group. So we're a very different platform than some of the others that are out there.
That's amazing. And just a quick follow-up to this. It sounds like it's focused on movies. Is it movies, documentary, show, or anything cinema?
It's anything entertainment based.
Okay.
So you can have a film, you can have a TV series, you can do a documentary, you can do a sporting event, you can do a live event, a theater, a production company, anything under the umbrella of entertainment. Someone can come to our platform and in a legally compliant fashion raise funds for it.
You know what's really exciting? I know there was a lot of conversation around the movie Obsession and how that was filmed, and then the conversation that happened after where the actors are now stuck in a certain salary even after the success of the movie. So hypothetically, if the actors wanted to invest in this movie that they're casted in, they would have that success even onward with the success of the film, right?
Correct. That is absolutely correct. And I love that you brought up Obsession. So yes, if Obsession was on our platform, not only the actors, but the community at large would have been able to make investments in the project as well. And once again, you see the return. It's on pace, if it isn't already, to be the most profitable film of all time. I know the Blair Witch Project was for a long time, but now Obsession is creeping up on it.
And again, from a creative point of view or writer, director point of view or whatever, it's like this person had their vision. They did what they needed to do. They went in there without gatekeeper. They went in there and did what they needed to do with their vision that they knew that their audience would relate to. And that's another thing. Like, I know what my audience wants. I'm very clear. I'm very clear. And I know if it's delivered the right way, they will show up. Our Latino people show up. They show up to films.
They
show
do.
up.
You know what's so funny? That's what I was Obsession. I went, there was a lot of Latinos in the room. And I think even the memes afterwards were like, oh, this is just a normal Tuesday dating a Latina, you know? So when you're watching it,
Oh, yes, girl.
You know the community.
Training orders.
Yeah.
Talk about that, Charo. I mean, the Latinidad of your film and knowing the community.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Talk to us about the Latinidad of your film and knowing your community and the audience that this movie's for.
You know, originally, I'm just going to be honest. Originally, this film was, I placed it in Sonora. Okay. I placed it in Sonora and the Sea of Cortez and all of that. The Mexican ballers from Guadalajara, from Chivas. She lived there, blah, 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 blah. When Annabelle Mullen came on board with Bell Films and the Puerto Rico incentives, then I said, wait a minute, I'm Puerto Rican. Because of a lot of different advantages, financial advantages, and also I'm Puerto Rican. So let's make the girl Puerto Rican and the Mexican guys come in, and Puerto Rico will be shot as Puerto Rico, not as Sonora, you know? And so what happened without me knowing is that then we have created the best alchemy and the best product. Why? We have East and West. We have Mexico, we have Puerto Rico. We have East and West. We are covering all bases with this in terms of, and what I love about the Mexican culture, because I'm not Mexican, but I am like an adopted Mexican because I worked in Mexico a lot. I've worked in Mexico networks. I've done, anyway, it's the beauty and the integrity and the tone of Mexican people. There is DNA that is different from my Puerto Ricans, because we have Taino, African, and Spanish. Mexican mostly have indigenous and Spanish. So there's something that happens when these two energies collide that is magical. And this film has, by mistake, or so to speak, or by divine guidance, it ended up in the most marketable situation, yet the most emotionally solid place. It is a Romeo and Juliet, but emotionally, how we, like, I always feel that Mexicans are deeper and quieter, and that love, that Juan Gabriel love. And then you have my Caribbean, which were like out there and expressive, and that kind of synergy is explosive. And that to me is #BlindHope. That to me is love. That to me is yin and yang. That to me is what makes this movie so special. And he's rich, and he's Mexican, and he's aspirational. When have we seen this on screen? When?
We have
Never. Well, now in the World Cup, because they're all over. But again, I'm just telling you, in a film, I don't know when. And then you have the girl who's a singer, a little scrappy, a little lower class. And we are also dealing with that. But it's not the Mexican person has no money. No, the Mexican's a billionaire. Like, he's a baller. Like, what are you talking about? So then that is taken out. And so we end up, what is love? And do you dare being loved and being seen for who you are, scars and all? And that's the theme of the film.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sharif, what question would you like to ask Charo?
Yeah, Charles, earlier you mentioned that the male protagonist character hit you a little bit earlier, right? That it was easier to write for him. What was that sort of spark that got you to say, I need this for the female lead?
So the male, like I said, is easier. I don't know. I've been around a lot of men, and I just, it's easier. The female character, the problem I have with Esperanza is that it's a woman who is thrown at a lot. Okay, she's thrown out, disfigurement. Her career, her dreams seem to be, ended. Her love goes away, and I was like, I don't understand how this girl cannot be bitter and resentful and víctima de telenovela, like a victim and all. So it took me a while for myself. That's why creators, 10 years ago, I wasn't ready for Esperanza. Now I am, okay? Because that character needs to deepen her spirituality, her faith in God, in El Niño de Atocha, her faith, her deep faith and commitment and love. I mean, because true love is unconditional. And I think that when we have been hurt a lot, we put a lot of masks and a lot of walls, and but she's steady and she keeps going. And even when her accident happens, she pivots to become a nurse. And then fate, El Niño de Atocha, brings them back together to love again. And she has to face, I'm not pretty enough. I have these scars. Is he going to love me again? Like, these are truly, I want to cry, because these are issues that we all people, men and women, but mostly women, face. And to just be steady with your love and not create excuses. It took me 10 years to get there. Did I answer your question?
You did.
You did. It's marvelous. And in really just listening to both of you, this project, your platform, CineBlock, your collaboration, we hear the term "for the people, by the people." This is, and I'm so sorry. This is. Give me 1 second, guys.
No worries.
Little dog. It's so cute, the little dog.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Bluetooth monster.
Hey. This is life. This is
Right,
what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Tranquilo.
So this is for the people, by the people. We hear that a lot in various movements, but this is something so pure, something that's really can be embraced by everyone who views this. So I would love to hear maybe a pitch. Like, what is your pitch to the people who might, think, well, should I donate my $5, my $100, my $1,000? What is your pitch for the people for this project, and why should they invest?
Me or Charo?
Both. All the above.
Three if you go first.
I'll go first. What I say is for people who don't want to sit through another Marvel movie or Ant-Man 15, who are tired of just seeing prequels and sequels, this is an opportunity now to support a project that may hit home. As Charo alluded to earlier, look at the amount of people who sat and watched a soccer game, who are watching soccer right now, right? When do we in America have an opportunity to embrace something like this, right? Let's take the momentum of the World Cup, which so many of us are watching right now. An original story about love, which we all have dealt with at some point. Why not support it, right? On top of it being a great script, okay? Just because I've already seen it, right? But literally, like, this is the point of the platforms. So many people will sit here and say, man, there's never anything to watch. There's nothing good on. Or it's too confusing. There's too much of this. There's too much of that. Now here's an opportunity to focus and support something that you have a genuine interest in. Why not?
Wonderful. Charo?
I'm going to start crying. Because in this environment of hatred against Latinos, this movie stands up as a beautiful representation of Mexican, Puerto Ricans, of our heart, of our love, of our depth, of our beauty. It is literally, in a world of darkness, we need blind hope. And that's what this movie is.
Thank you. Really powerful. And I just want to thank you both. Can you guys please share where people can find all things Blind Hope? Share your social medias, maybe a website you might have.
Absolutely. I'll go first while Charo gets together.
All right.
Lo que me limpio los mocos.
Yes.
Girl.
Wow. To join the waitlist for the platform, please, everyone, head to CineBlock Films. CineBlock is spelled C as in Charlie, INEBLOCK, films.com. There you can get up-to-date information on the project and be notified immediately when the release for the campaign is happening.
And follow an Instagram _Blind Hope. Everything is there. All the links to the CineBlock platform, to the waiting list are there, to the SoundCloud, to the music, there are clips of scenes from that webinar that show the actors kind of with the material. And this is, they're reading. We're not even on set. But it really shows what the project is about. And I just want to say I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to CineBlock, to Sharif, Prince, Julian, Annabelle Mullen, and Bell Films, all the actors that are so incredible. I am humble. Sofia Arriaga, Rami, the team that did Belinda, like the team that did Juanpa, the webinar. What I have realized is that this movie, especially this movie, is not done alone. This movie is done in community, for the community. And what's so great about CineBlock is that there's a lot of transparency where the investors are going to be able to see, oh, this is happening. This is behind the scenes. This is what we're doing now. There's not a lot of the net profit and the gross profit and all this craziness that goes on in the traditional system. So what I love about CineBlock is that they are a pioneer, they are a disruptor, they're badass, and watch, people are going to be like, oh, wait, there's another way to get in. There's
Absolutely.
I
another
love
way.
it. I love it. And with TikTok and social media and the community just having access to everything, I'm sure it'll be really successful. And I want to thank you both. Every project begins with a story, and every story has a power to inspire someone else. If today's conversation resonated with anyone who's listening, watching, be sure to support Charo Toledo and Sharif Bennett, CineBlock, Blind Hope, and I will link everything down below or to the right or to the left where you will find things in their respective platforms. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time.
Thank you so much.